I'm Asher McClenahan.
I'm Diego Korchenko.
And we are working on Speed Up America.
So in the recent years, we have data from the FCC that shows us that most of America has great internet coverage. We have found that not only does America not have internet coverage in rural counties, but that the FCC data isn't the correct data that is being reported. So what we're trying to accomplish with this project is to allow people to give us the data, to take their own speed test, to give us their own speed test data in order to have an accurate accounting of what internet speeds they have, and to compare that to the FCC data to make sure it's reliable.
And so the goal of this is to expose some of the inequities in internet speeds across the country and access to internet so that we can resolve that problem before it becomes another major divide in our social ecosystem. I specifically am working on making sure that all of the parts are moving and we're going in the right direction as we work on this project for Lane County. But this is part of a larger initiative. So it was an open source project that MIT worked on. They published their code base. Louisville was really the first city to pick it up as part of their digital inclusion strategy. And so they picked up this code base. And so now, if you go to Speed Up Louisville's website, you can run a speed test and you can see a map of all of the counties and census tracts and what internet speeds their users are reporting there. And so Louisville has picked that up. Minnesota also has a website, Speed Check Minnesota, where they have their entire states. You can go as a Minnesotan and take a speed test and view all of this data. And so we're just trying to take that model, apply it to Lane County first, and then scope it out to Oregon. And then eventually we really would like to scale this out to the entire country so that there is not a community left in the US that does not have access to this data.
We want to ensure people that this is backed by technology-minded people, people that have degrees, people that have worked in this industry for decades. This is a problem that we realize other people need to be aware about and that we're fully passionate about.
This is my first time doing anything like this. So I don't come from a technical background, but I work on a product team now, and so we help deliver software products, and this is awesome. I mean, I work with the same group of developers regularly, and this is an incredible opportunity for me to meet people in the community that are passionate about not only technology, but causes. I mean, everybody here's trying to do something either cool or really helpful to their community. It's sort of, I mean, the energy is definitely contagious. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm Jiazhen. I'm teammates right now.
Yeah, I'm Clark. I'm also in the team right now. And the cause we're working on right now is HIV Alliance. And it's basically making an app for them to help their collection their data and also integrate it. Yeah, it's basically an app for them. So they just want their staff has a easier usability for putting in their filling in their all the informations, and we have a sort of like a short report for that information, and just tell them like how much their unitary goes, and how many people came in today into this event, and yeah, and they have access to the database, to the actual database to manage it.
Yeah, like for now they're using paper documents, and they need to transform all the data into their database by hand. It's very time consuming, and also paper documents are easily to be like damaged or losing, so they need an electronic record for easy to keep. We're mainly working on the interface for the user now, and our next step would be construct the database. And if everything goes well, we'll just connect the database and the front end and see if the application goes well.
We get food, we get coffee, and we have a little comfy room, and that's the best. To be honest, I don't like the wet plastic chairs, and that makes me feel so bad. But the black one is pretty good. It's pretty nice and pretty good. And we got a huge TV in our room, and we can just plug in and talk about things.
Yeah, we also have a whiteboard that we can just wrote down our ideas. That's great. Because we're all approach our graduation, and it's probably our last chance to participate in a hackathon with our friends together.
And also we have passion and love in programming, so we just have this is a good chance for a show off of our skills, and also it's a pre-practice for before we came into the real industry environment, and just give a try and see what is going on.
We're working for the Carry It Forward project, and our team is Slacker Hackers. Our company sponsored a team last year. The guy that's not here, in true Slacker hacker fashion, he was part of that team, and they won last year, and they wanted to participate this year. So it's the first time for both of us. It's the second time for him.
Carry It Forward is an organization that provides resources to chronically homeless people in Eugene, and this will hopefully be an opportunity for them to provide some of those people with a place where they can tell their story and a place where they can ask for specific donations that will help their everyday life.
We also chose it because it matches our capabilities, the capabilities of the team really well. Kathleen is a front-end developer. I'm a brand manager and graphic designer at the company we work at. Josh is a back-end developer. So, you know, we have the skills for this project pretty well matched. Some of the other projects are incredibly complex and way out of our scope. So we thought it would be a good match.
I'm hoping that we'll have enough stuff that they can take everything that we've made and really just kind of drop it into their current website fairly easily. That's kind of my goal, is to make it so that it can be as easy for them as possible to be able to just use it without having to do too many other things to it beforehand. And I think we're on our way to being able to do that.
And I'm planning a photography guide for the people in the field so that we have consistent photography of these folks, and so when they upload a new person that they want to help, it has a consistency. There's some consistency in what they're presenting, and they manage to capture the people well. So we're also providing them that, because these people in the field might not have much experience taking photography. They might not have much experience in how to engage these folks to get the right way to portray them. So we want to help with that as well. It's a good opportunity to meet the tech community in Eugene. I've only been in Eugene for 3 years, and I haven't really interacted much with the tech community, so it's a good opportunity for that.
Yeah, just personally, I guess just my goal would be to have a good time and, to feel like I contributed something to the community.
I'm Alejandro De Paz.
I'm Taylor Scott.
I'm Kyle Diodati.
And our project is the homeless resource finder.
And our team name is Don't Spoil Endgame, because it just came out.
Yes.
Don't spoil it.
Initially, we scrambled a little bit because we weren't sure what we wanted to do. But after looking it over, we thought it would be a cool project because, for one, it focused on web app development and mobile development, two things that none of us really had a lot of experience with. So a big part of it for us was just getting out of our comfort zone and doing something new, something we'd never done before. And the other part of it was, I think for me personally at least, I'm from Portland. There's a big homeless problem there too. But even when I came to Eugene for school, I was blown away by how big the problem really was. So I feel like just as a cause in and of itself, it's a very powerful thing that's like really needs something that needs to be solved.
Ease of use is our main goal. So we just want a very functional, working web page that gets everyone what they need, but as simple as possible.
The demographic for homelessness is super widespread. So there's a lot of different people, from seniors to literal kids. So we wanted something that's functional, but also accessible and approachable by anybody who uses it. So our main goal has been, making things that clearly do what you think they're going to do. So you open up this web page and a button says food. That's going to give you resources and access to places that can provide you food in Eugene.
The main thing I really see when I'm walking around, I've noticed it almost every day, is there's some homeless people walking around, and you just hope that they're getting the best help they can get.
We just established this morning that we got our kind of minimum viable product done. So I actually feel really good at this point. We're just working on kind of styling from here, just making sure everything looks pretty, it's presentable, and that we kind of ticked off all the boxes that we were hoping to get done.
It's been a really cool experience. Just seeing all these people just come together to work on all these problems, and people are tackling different problems, and even within a problem going at it different ways and trying to solve it is really cool. It's also cool, we made our group yesterday. I've known Taylor for a little while, and then we met this week. So it's kind of cool just getting to work on these projects with people you don't necessarily know, and you don't know your strengths. And we're going into this, and we're also doing a project that we're not super comfortable in doing. So I don't even know my own strengths in this project. So it's been really cool to figure out how we work in this kind of unknown environment.
Well, I'm Will Christensen. We're the 3 Decketeers, and we're working on the shelter care project, part of the data collection and storage kind of section of this event.
Yeah, and I'm Daniel.
I'm Derek. We're all in the computer science major at the University of Oregon, so we all kind of met through that. As far as what the actual hack, why we're doing the hack, a lot of it is brought out by our professors. So I know we have one professor, Eric Wills, who is he was a major person in setting this up stuff. So he would constantly email us about it, and I have a class that he's teaching, and so every class he'd be like, hey, the hack for a cause is coming up. So a lot of us see this as kind of an opportunity to learn more about what the actual industry is like outside of academia. So, that's why I'm doing it. It sounded fun.
Yeah, so we're working with shelter care to get them a kind of online form and database for their encounters. So they kind of have these people who make routine visits to houses to check for leasing violations or anything like that. And so right now they do all of the forms by paper and then transfer them over later. So there's a lot of error. It goes very slow. And so they're trying to get a online form to connect to that database. So that's what we're working on with them.
One of the greatest accomplishments you can have here is to create something that has functionality. So generating this minimum viable product where you can meet all of the base goals that were set by the champion that submitted the document all those weeks ago. Getting something like that to work is very fulfilling in this process, especially given the time constraints. So mainly that's our primary goal.
Personally, what I'm looking to get out of the Hack for a Cause is just, have a weekend of, it'll be a challenge, but a fun challenge, and just kind of push myself to my limits. I don't have any homework due next week to worry about, and so I can just kind of devote my time here and just kind of test my boundaries, see what I know, what I don't, do it with people who I enjoy being around and meet more people, and that's what I'm looking to get out of it.
All the people that we've met have been super like accommodating. They're like, oh yeah, we're totally here to help. Like anything you guys need, let us know, which is always nice, especially because they like don't know us at all. Like they've never seen us before and they're just like, yeah guys, let's go do this thing. So it's a really nice, welcoming environment. And like Daniel said, we were leaving yesterday and I was like, I'm just pumped to come back. Like I don't even want to leave. Like, and obviously needed to sleep, but I was just like, I just want to stay here and work on this amongst just all of our colleagues and people that we've just met. But like, it's just a really fun experience. I'm having a great time. Yeah, I look forward to continuing it.
The challenge that we're doing is Homeless Resource Finder.
Okay. Yep. And I'm Jake Peterson.
I'm Connor Madalozo.
And we're Hack Club.
Yeah, Hack Club.
I'm always looking for new tech opportunities to come out and fiddle around, make some new program with a group of people. And it's been really fun so far.
Yeah, I always love hackathons. I've done coding competitions, but they're more like puzzle based. They're not as like fulfilling. Like I love these hackathons where you have a challenge and then you have like a product at the end.
Yeah, we're building the Homeless Resource Finder, and obviously an app like that in this area can be incredibly useful. You can walk down the street and see dozens of people a day that could have a use for something like this. And I think if we're able to build something really cool today and an idea like this can come to life in the future, I think it'll have a positive impact on a lot of people.
One of our first considerations was like the form process. And we noticed that the first app had like it all as a grid on one page. And like one of our goals was to have like all of the demographics be able to like select it. Like the inspiration app kind of made it so you could only choose one, and some demographics overlap. Like you can do one thing and other things. And that was like one of our goals. Another goal that I saw was least clicks. So we're gonna really try and have like not 100 pages, probably like maybe a one-page app.
I think what I appreciate most about events like this is just how much you're able to learn in a short amount of time. I think being under pressure and having all of these super smart people around you really drives you to do your best and push yourself. And
yeah, there's something about these hackathons that are different than like your own single project. Like you might not accomplish much in your project because you don't have like inspiration that you do on one of these events. Like I think he was talking about like, I don't know, working on it, like even if it's a volunteer environment, you get this like surge of energy making a nice app because you're with people that are also positive about the same things. And you're not all there just on your 9-to-5 job like you are every day. People set aside this weekend for this, and they want to be here. It's a totally new experience that I think is just great.
I'm Adam Epstein with the City of Eugene Planning and Development Department, and I'm kind of the tech mentor for this team and championing the project.
I'm Andrew Higgins. I'm working on the FBI Beacons team for community involvement, and I'm a student at Lane Community College, transferring to UVO.
I'm Santiago Cera. I'm the art director for IDX Broker, and I'm working on a community engagement project, and I'm the designer for the project.
The big project push for this was planning and development wanted to have a way for the community to be engaged and to engage back to the city on all of the stuff that happened, both infrastructure, events, comments, because we don't get a lot of touchback. And these guys are looking at building an app, maybe also having the website behind it to have a map, show where things are, show the area affected, let people know ahead of time. You know, we were going to try and use Bluetooth beacons and have push notifications. The beacon technology didn't quite come together, so they've already had one big rewrite.
Yeah, it was kind of just getting a way for people to communicate with the city and for the city to communicate with people, because right now the methods of doing it are not quite as widespread as they're wanting it to be. And having either an application or a mobile website where people can look up information and have it readily available can also provide more feedback to the city, so they can actually like pursue construction projects and infrastructure projects and have more feedback and give people more info about those projects going on, so they're not like surprised or anything like that.
I'm working on the UI and the basically making it simple and intuitive, because already coming across like a street project or like a city project, right, can be maybe like a little frustrating for the community. So just making the app easy to use, and I think that's key, I guess.
Yeah, so it's going to have a map with some markers on it. The markers will show where something's happening, what type of activity it is, and then have links to something else that could be an education resource, a feedback form, or otherwise let people know, hey, you've got road construction coming up in 2 weeks. You might want to plan your route. Or, hey, Saturday market's starting up in this blocks. Or we've got a big show or art walk. And so these guys are putting map pins, got an interactive map, some ability to filter the types of events, and maybe even some push notifications if we get to there that can say, hey, you live or you've been through this area, we want to warn you about this.
The biggest thing for me is I just came here to learn. Like, I didn't really have a lot of background coming in, so I just very recently started learning how to program, mostly self-taught. So it's a good opportunity for me to not just like kind of be thrown into, get out of my comfort zone, so to speak, but also see what other applications and languages people are working in and developing. For me, it's exciting to see what kind of projects people come up with. That's a big thing, and seeing like how a team of developers actually works through a whole time crunch period, and how those projects go from like conceptual phase to actual like development and then getting deployed. So I'm excited to see kind of what stuff people come up with and how they approach the problems and solve them.
My name's Kevin, and I'm working on the Homeless Resource Challenge, and the team is Kevin Koder with a K. I first got involved with Hackathon last year. I was a tech mentor and tech judge, and I decided to get in on a hack this year since I was familiar with the process. I ran across the Homeless Resource Finder, and I found interested in that because it was a database-based application. That's kind of my specialty and the thing I enjoy doing. The application is very simple. It's intended to be used by a homeless person in need on the street, so I made it as simple as possible. It doesn't take any thinking to use it. You just push buttons and you find the resources with a couple of pushes that you need. All the resources vary anywhere from health, medical, food, clothing, shelter, anything that a person in homelessness might need. This year I've had a really great team. I have a front-end developer, I did the back end, I've got a project manager and then a code reviewer, and we get along great and we've really enjoyed working together. I've really been enjoying this hack and meeting a lot of new people, making new friends, seeing old friends from last year and people that I know from the tech community around here. Eugene is a really good group of tech people, and I enjoy hanging out with them, talking to them.
I knew none of these people prior to this weekend, and I guess I'd met some of them through the Slack channel as was leading up to the event. But for what brought us together, it would be the combination of Hack for a Cause and wanting to work on a project, a game that helps people understand how to get elected and a good timeline to do that within.
So we're making an educational clone of Oregon Trail. So it's a game where it's emulating the same kind of structure that Oregon Trail had, and you make choices through the game that are supposed to be educational along the lines of what sorts of choices you'd be faced with as a potential school board candidate.
In Springfield specifically.
In Springfield specifically, yeah.
So we've been using a bunch of whiteboards and storyboarding out what the events and what the choices and the decisions that the player is going to make, and then how that moves them from scene to scene. The game is a web app, so we'll be able to publish it on a website and then anybody can go to it and play it. And we're hoping to have an MVP of it within the next few hours.
For me, it's been actually really nice just to get out and meet people because I currently work as a remote employee from home, so I don't get a lot of adult interaction most of the time. I have kids that come up at the end of the day, but don't get to meet other folks at all, and so it's been really nice to meet more people in the tech community.
I think one goal for me too is just to do something different than I do during the week. Even though it's still involved in technology, it's great to be able to attempt to make a video game and take my skills and apply that. And then on the flip side, also making sure to have fun, because it's a short time crunch, and I think that's kind of the ultimate goal for a lot of people, but still delivering something.
In terms of doing something different, like I'm a graphic designer, and this event gives me an opportunity to kind of stretch my skills and do something that I normally wouldn't do at my day-to-day job.
I teach, and that's my full-time job is online professor. And one of the things that I've done a lot of as I've been getting into instructional design more is trying to figure out how to do gamification with educational stuff and make learning about things like this a lot more fun and not just, kind of the plot of go find the information. And so having the gamification has been one of the things that I've really valued and getting to learn about and do more of.
In making a game, well, first off, Oregon Trail is just awesome. 8-bit graphics, also awesome. So, we got a lot going for us right there. But in trying to sneak the education into the game so people don't know that they're learning, and the byproduct is the learning, and all they have to do is enjoy a game, it's a triple win. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
It's always really interesting going from one tool to another, just figuring out what makes it tick, and just trying to get it to do what you want it to do. That's always what was interesting for me about it.
Yeah, so my name is Alex Jeffrey. I represent Team Quack for a Cause, and we are combating the Data Collection and Entry Challenge, both for HIV Alliance and then also for Shelter Care. So so far we've been working on HIV Alliance. We want to get that down and complete, and then if we find we have extra time at the end, we're going to move on to Shelter Care. So me and my team actually all met each other at the 2 years ago at Hack for a Cause. And so I walked in there all alone, found them, they're all at a table. We were all University of Oregon students at the time. So we all decided to just combat two particular challenges together and had a really good time. We won both the challenges, so that was a really good experience. Last year we came back on a challenge, and so we're here again. We want to do 3 for 3. For me personally, the HIV Alliance one is extra special because my sister actually volunteers there at a regular basis. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, for deciding why we did this particular challenge, we kind of did a democratic vote. So we all went into a room, we had a quick discussion, and then we all gave ourselves 3 votes. And then we thought that we could definitely put together our abilities the best towards this option, so that's why we decided. We want it to be really clean and easy to use, so for the HIV Alliance, we were talking with members of the organization, trying to suss out what exactly they want from the system. And they have an existing database in place, but it seems like they want to move towards a new database, and so what we're doing is trying to get all the information we can from them about what they want, how they want to get stuff out of the database, how they want to be able to say, I want clients from this range in time to this range in time, or from this demographic, and be able to pull that data really easily. So we just want to structure our app around that. Essentially what you'll do is you'll go to a web browser, there will be a login for the volunteers or staff there, they'll put in their credentials, and then they can start interviewing or gathering information from the clients that come in about their demographics or why they're in for doing needle exchange, whatever. The first year was kind of trying to ready ourselves for the professional development environment. And we are all continuing to work in downtown Eugene. We're all downtown professionals now, so that seemed to work out. Then last year was kind of us gathering together, and after about 6 months or so of all working in professional environments, coming back and doing this hackathon again. And now we have a decent amount of experience under our belt, so now it's kind of like almost a tradition, coming back, seeing what we can do, having fun. Yeah. I get to know a lot more of the local Eugene community. I mean, we don't have many other events like this where we're all gathering together and solving problems together, so this is definitely a super unique place to do that.
I'm Sam Foster. I'm working on Team Spectrum, and we're working on the City of Eugene's parking urban Pong game.
Well, I'm interested in helping out getting the urban Pong set up. I'd worked on it initially for the city and with Stephen Fiskus, who's a UO professor. And the whole idea is to have some interactive art in the downtown, and the City of Eugene has been funding some of that through the parking department. And so in this case, we see some street lighting installed under the parquet. There's a parking garage that's right the block across from the Holt Center. So we'll run a string of lights down that entire block, and our task is to come up with an interactive game that people can walk up on either end of the block and initiate gameplay.
The main concept that we're trying to do is come up with a way for the lights themselves to be kind of an essential element of the gameplay. So our current idea, like this could change, but our current idea is to have something kind of inspired by the game Mastermind, which is like a tabletop game where you have different colored pegs, and you essentially have to match the pattern that coming from one side, and you have to be on the other side and line it up or something like that. So that's kind of what our idea is right now, but could change after we get to play it and see if it's actually fun or not.
The way we see it working is the lights are set up right down the city block. There'd be a poster or some signage that tells people to load up a web page on their phone, and that allows them to join a game. And they're going to be at one end with their phone as the controller for the game, and the other person's at the other end. And they'll basically be able to send a string of colors to the other end as kind of an attack. And you'll see that come down the city block, and they'll have time to respond to that. And so there's a kind of a back and forth that takes place that should, we think it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be, you should be able to see that there's a game going on, and it should pull people in. Obviously, we can't work with the lights on the city block. Those are not installed yet, but we've got a strip of lights that's a pretty good analog to that. So we hope to have a working game client implemented for the people's phones. We hope to have the server up and running that's going to actually manage the game. And we should be able to play a game by the end of the weekend. It'll need refinement, but we want to have something playable.
So I just saw like a email newsletter for this like I live in Portland, and I just decided to come down because I heard Eugene has like a growing tech scene, and I just thought I'd check it out and kind of meet the people in the community. And personally, I think it's a good way to learn, to hone some Python and just skills, and also to get some experience with IoT, Raspberry Pi, and stuff like that. And then also, while doing that, also contributing to a kind of a public city project. So I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to come down and meet some fellow programmers and interact and, and see this project kind of move forward and get it expanded.
We're working on the homeless resource finder. We're U of O students, and our professors were like, go to Hack for a Cause, go to Hack for a Cause. It's $5, go. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
So now we're here. Right now we're trying to get the basics of an Android app done. And since we've never developed anything like it before, we're learning from like the bottom up, and right now we're just getting started with like the design of the app. We wanted experience working with something that both accesses like resources online, and then also wanted to develop an app for that. And also the cause seemed to us the most interesting, and it seemed like useful, the most useful considering the effort that would be put into it, because it's a relatively simple thing. Well, not simple for us, but in general, but it can help a lot of people, and it can help them like immediately when they need it. Like, we thought the cause would see a lot of real world use here and there, and that seemed interesting to us.
And then hopefully I want to learn the new language of Kotlin. Yeah, so that's why we are choosing the Android apps.
We haven't been interacting with a lot of people so far, but just being surrounded by people doing similar things, different things, and then having all these resources to help us just really accessible around us, that makes us more like motivated, and it just makes it fun for us to try new things and also be doing something specifically for a cause, and not just my professor wants me to build a red-black tree in Java and I don't want to. Our app should be letting homeless people or people who need homeless resources to just go onto the app and then in real time check what resources are available when and where, so that when they need the resources and they don't have a lot of time, or they don't have a lot of transportation options, they can always check where things are, and then that'll help them both find resources and also access them reliably, so that people in need can actually use those resources. Because we, according to the cause description, we already have a database, we already have the resources, but it's about connecting the people who need the resources with those resources.
We are the South Eugene Robotics Team CERT, and we are working on Carry It Forward's top 5 donations for homeless people in our community.
So for the back end, we are using, we're writing it in Kotlin, and we're using a framework called Koder. And also, and then for database communication, we're using Exposed, which is a Kotlin library by JetBrains for interacting with like SQL databases. And that kind of makes up our back end. And then, yeah, that's kind of our tech stack for that. And then we're trying to get Kubernetes working with it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we have Docker already working with our back end. So we've been able to like containerize it and all that.
You want to talk about the front end?
Sure. For front end, we're using TypeScript and React with Redux, and we're using the Material UI component system for like visuals.
When a user first enters the page, they'll be presented with a list of people in our community who could benefit from donations. So you'll be able to select a person on the front end, a person that you want to donate to, and you'll be able to choose an amount to donate, or maybe like an item, like a specific item you can bring in order to donate to these people. Maybe it's like a backpack or a sleeping bag or socks or something. You'll be able to see how many of that specific item this person needs and how much it costs, and you'll be able to see like the progress that they are to reaching that item, and it'll give you a lot of information about how you can personally help people in the community.
As I said before, we're doing the Carry It Forward challenge. And I remember we went through every single challenge video and we watched it. And I remember that when we saw the challenge video for this one in particular, the Carry It Forward challenge,
we felt particularly we felt there was kind of like this general consensus that like, hey, this is cool. This is like, this is something that we could like actually see in our lives. Like, if this goes somewhere, we could like see tomorrow like someone walking around downtown using this thing that we made. It's nice to be able to create something locally and then see that actually happen, to actually affect people's lives in a direct and meaningful way. I think that's one of the main reasons why we chose this challenge in particular.
It's been nice just to get these guys exposed to the tech community in Eugene. That we went to the pre-hack meetup and were able to do that in IDX, meet other web developers in town, and just interface with professionals. And it's also kind of cool that I feel like these guys can really keep up with a lot of the folks in town. So it's really cool to see that they do well. They know what they're talking about, and so far things are going good.
It also has been nice to network with other people and meet other passionate developers in the community. And I'm actually surprised that there's a lot of people here, and it's really nice to meet. It's really nice to meet these people that otherwise I wouldn't have. It's nice to get to know them because we're all developers, and that is always fun to talk to each other.
I did Hack for a Cause in 2016, also with the South Eugene Robotics team. I'm the only senior here, so I was the only one of us that participated in that one. But it was a really good experience, and we haven't been able to participate in the past few years because of it just interfered with robotics. But we're really happy to be here this year, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah.